Hello guys, this is the ORAS, and as you guys know, I'm a shiny hunter. Those who have subscribed, I know it's not a lot, but thank you for those who have. Know that I love hunting for shinies, and I have been breeding for shinies using the Masuda method since Pokemon X and Y, and I have continued to do so with the new ORAS game, Alpha and Omega Ruby. So this video that I'm making, I've been wanting to make for a while. First of all, let me start off by saying that this is not a tutorial to show you how to breed Pokemon. If you guys want to watch a tutorial on how to breed Pokemon, there already is a lot of great videos out there on YouTube, and I will put some of the greatest videos linked on the description below, so you guys can view those videos if you want to see how to breed Pokemon. This video is going to be more about the Masuda method. What is the Masuda method? How does it work? And what are the benefits of using the Masuda method? So, keeping that in mind and going on forth, the Masuda method. What is the Masuda method? Well, according to Bulbapedia and a lot of other web pages, the Masuda method involves breeding two Pokemon created in different games of different countries. And I say countries because I don't completely agree with this. This is a little inaccurate, and you have to be careful with that term country, because in reality it's different languages that trigger the Masuda method, and I'll get more into detail in that in a little bit. But country's not accurate because let's say, for example, USA and the United Kingdom. Yes, they're different countries, but they both speak English. Let's look at another example. We have Mexico, and then we have Argentina. Again, different countries, but they speak the same language, Mexico. Let me repeat this. This will not trigger the Masuda method. In order for the Masuda method to be triggered, the Pokemon have to be from different languages, meaning they came from another game or from a Pokemon game that is from a different language than the game that you are currently playing. And as you can see in the little icons or the pictures that I have on the PowerPoint, you'll see an example of what I mean. You'll know when a Pokemon is from a different country if you see those little icons with a different language. For example, the Ditto is from Japan. Then you have the next Pokemon that's a German Pokemon. And then you have the little Fungus that's from Spanish. So if you see that little black box and you see one of those languages, it doesn't have to be those, but if you see that icon, that means that Pokemon is foreign to your cartridge. And like I said, you can get another Pokemon that's from a different game, but if it's from your same language, say you're in the US and you got one from UK on GTS, the Global Trading System, it's not going to have that icon because it's still an English Pokemon. So keep that in mind. That's what the Masuda method is. It's using a Pokemon that's from a different language from your game cartridge. Okay, now that we have that clear, how does it work? Well, in the next slide, you'll see that I have two little Growlithe, so I'll be using these as part of the example. But basically, the Masuda method works by you having two parents that are from the same egg group. They don't have to be the same Pokemon, they just have to be from the same egg group. And if they're from different languages, like I mentioned before, you put them in the daycare, this will trigger the Masuda method. And as you can see in the example, in my case, I have an English cartridge. So if I want to trigger the Masuda method, I would use a Japanese male Growlithe, and I could use something like an English Growlithe. It could be one that I bred myself, or it could be one that I got traded. It doesn't really matter as long as one of the parents is at least a foreign, and this will trigger the Masuda method. If you want to know more about the egg groups, there is a link that points out to Cerebi, It's in the PowerPoint, and I'll also put it below in the description. But you can look at that and see what Pokemon can breed with other Pokemons from the same egg group. And I know I have the female as the native one, the English one, and the male as the Japanese, the foreign Pokemon. There's no rule. It can be vice versa. It doesn't matter which one is foreign, as long as you have one that is foreign. Of course, if you're going to breed for, like I have in the example for Growlithe, then you better make sure that you're using at least a female Growlithe. Otherwise, you'll get the offspring of whatever the female is. So now we know what the Masuda method is and how does it work, how it's triggered. So what are the benefits of using the Masuda method? Well, if you look at the next PowerPoint, which is already on the screen, when you use the Masuda method, starting from Gen 6 on, you increase your chance for a shiny Pokemon while breeding. Currently, that rate in Gen 6 is 1 out of 8,192. However, when you use the Masuda method, you increase that rate and it becomes 1 out of 1,365. But that's not it. It gets even better. If you're using the Masuda method and you have the shiny charm is something that you can get from the professor. You get it when you complete your Pokedex and you catch all 709 Pokemon. If you have the shiny charm and you use Masuda method, you further increase your chances of getting a shiny Pokemon while breeding. It becomes from 1 out of 1,365 to the chance of 1 out of 1,024. It might not seem like a big difference, but when you're breeding for a shiny Pokemon, anything that could increase your chances is going to be a lot better. Now you'll notice that in parentheses I have that there's some discrepancies about this, and that some websites claim that it's 1 out of 512 when you have the shiny charm and you're using the Masuda method. I'm not here to say which one is right, which one is wrong. I'm just trying to give you a general idea of what can you expect. But some of you might still be asking yourself, why is there different numbers or different rates? Is there one that is right? Is there one that is wrong? Well, in the next slide you'll see precisely that it's going to talk about this question, which rate is correct, the 1 out of 1024 or the 1 out of 512. Let me start off by saying this. Possibly they are both correct. And let me explain that when I say this from an observation, from my experience, and from my opinion, since I've been breeding since X and Y and 4 on, and from what I've seen on forums like Smogon and a couple of other forums, both of these seem to be correct. So how is it that people get different rates? Well, once again, going back to what I said from my experience and from what I have found, the rate of 1 out of 1,024, I notice that you get this rate most likely when you're combining the Masuda method that I explained earlier, using one foreign parent with the shiny charm. You get this rate because you're using at least one pairing as a foreign language Pokemon. Again, you see the example. In this case, assuming I have an English cartridge, let's say we're using an English female Growlithe that I bred, and then I'll use a Japanese Growlithe that I got from GTS or a friend. Well, this will most likely give me the rate out of 1 and 1,024. So when is it that you get the 1 and 512? Well, in the next slide, as you can see, you accomplish this rate when you use the Masuda method with the shiny charm, but instead of using only one foreign parent, one Pokemon that's from a foreign language, you use 2 foreign language parents. Now, let me explain what this means and how exactly this is done. There's 2 rules that you see on the slide, and those 2 rules pretty much explain how it works. In order for you to accomplish this rate, the parents have to be from different foreign languages, first of all from each other. This means that, let's say that I have a Japanese Growlithe. That means that I can use a Korean, a Spanish, a French, or an Italian, or even a German, as long as it's different from the Japanese Growlithe. If I use any of these other languages, I'm already using 2 parents that are foreign from each other. Now, you can't use 2 Japanese, or you can't use 2 Korean, or 2 Spanish, or 2 French, or 2 Italian, or 2 German, etc. Why? Because this counts as the Masuda method, meaning the Pokemon that you're using to breed, they have to be from different languages from each other. Now, that's not the only rule. There's a second rule. The parents not only have to be from different foreign languages from each other, but they also have to be different foreign languages from each other and from your game at the same time. Now, in the next slide, you see a different example, and I kind of mentioned it earlier. Again, assuming that your game is English native, if you want to trigger this maximum shiny rate, you could use, using a Growlithe as an example, use a Japanese Growlithe, and you can use a German Growlithe as the other parent. Both of these examples, or I mean this example, in this example, both of these Pokemons, the Japanese and the German one, follow the rules above because they're foreign from each other, different languages, and at the same time they're different language from my game, which is English. Now, as I mentioned before, this is from my opinion, my experience, and from my observation from breeding many shinies. As you guys have seen in my channel, I have videos of a lot of shinies, and actually I had way more than that, but I deleted them because of certain circumstances. But I have bred close to 100 shinies, and I can tell you that when I use this last method that I mentioned about using 2 foreign parents, I tend to get shinies twice as fast. Most of my shinies come below 500 eggs. But when I use only 1 foreign parent and one of my native Pokemon as the other parent, it normally takes me very close to 1,000, sometimes even more than 1,000 eggs to get a parent. I mean, to get a shiny Pokemon. And this was the case with Charmander, Froakie, and a couple other Pokemon. I only use 1 foreign language Pokemon, and it took over 1,000 eggs. But like I said, when I mentioned earlier, and like I reiterate in the next slide, when I use 2 foreign language Pokemons, I get them twice as fast, normally under 500. And you guys have seen in my videos, I have gotten some at 50, 100, 200, 300, but it's because I'm using 2 foreign parents. Now, you guys have to keep something in mind that at the end of the day, the Masuda method, regardless of which method you use, it's all RNG. So it could be that you might use 2 foreign parents and it still might take you over 1,000. It could be that you use only 1 foreign parent and you might get it at the first egg at 500, at 200, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just RNG. But overall, if you follow these tips that I've mentioned, you will notice that when you use 2 foreign parents, you typically will get it under 500. When you only use 1, you normally will get it close to 1,000, over 1,000. Keep doing this and you guys will see a difference over time, I can assure you this. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys liked it, you guys can give it a thumbs up. If you guys didn't like it, you guys can also give it a thumbs down and leave a comment in the description and let me know what is it that you did or didn't like about the video. Thank you. Enjoy.